In today's world, keep your focus and love what you believe in, how to achieve all your dreams. Keep moving forward, never accept less than who you are. Live your best life, be strong and free. It's back with Nahaja Black.
It's back with Nahaja Black is sponsored by the Cancer Treatment Centers of America and Burger King.
With Nahaja Black, it's back with Nahaja Black.
Good afternoon, Bahamas, and welcome to the Hit Back. I'm your host, Nahaja Black. It is a beautiful day here in the 242. I hope that you are doing well, taking care of yourself, and living your best life today. It's Friday, y'all. Hey, ho. Anybody else feeling it? Anyone else? Anyone else looking forward to the end of a work week? Because I am, and I don't even work that hard, so this is embarrassing. I hope that everybody's doing well, though. I hope that everyone is doing well. I'm pretty excited. I got a full show for you today. And before I get anywhere, I have a star-studded, guests, a panel of guests, all the way. They look fabulous. They think I didn't see them dancing, before, during the intro of the song. Yeah, they thought I didn't see, but I see all things. Welcome to the Hit Back. So good to have you all. Representing the Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute, we have joining us Mr. Robertson. We have joining us, and at all of these wonderfully long titles that are before the name. So let me make sure I get all of this right. So we have BTVI President, Dr. Robert Robertson. Then we have BTVI alum representatives. And you know what, y'all got to help me out because there's too many names here. So what I'll do first, let me just bring everybody on the scene first. And then when I introduce, I can't get it wrong until y'all tell me who is who. The only person I know is right is Mr. Robertson. That's all I got. So I want to welcome the VP of Fund Development, and I don't see the full name, so I'm just going to go with this. Kadrin Carey, we have Nassau President and Tertanya Miller, Freeport President. And then we have BTVI Associate Vice President of Fund Development, Alicia Thompson. And they're all joining me here today. And you must forgive me all the way my notes were. That it's terrible the way I did that just now. So I normally am much better with my introductions. And so we will have to do that again at another time. But welcome to the Hit Back, everyone. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you. Hi.
You guys look fabulous. Titania, you're muted, so let's get you back onto the unmute life, right? To make sure I get your audio. But thank you so much for joining us on the show today. BTVI in full effect. Everyone looks wonderful. And I'm excited to have you guys on because I know when we have educators on, when we have the premier technical vocational institute on, the space for trade, for in terms of the all things technical, in terms of our IT industry, in terms of manufacturing, all of these wonderful things, that BTVI is it. And I could get paid real quick after I graduate. This is the space. And so I'm actually very excited to have you on. I want to welcome you on. I'll start with President Robertson. Please tell us today what is going on with BTVI and why we're here today.
Well, thank you, Ms. Black. Greetings from Freeport. I'm in Freeport today talking with a variety of people about some exciting construction trade courses that we're offering in light of the fact that we see significant contractors work in the summer of 2022, major projects across the entire country. As you know, COVID has required a lot of people pull back on projects, but now those projects look like they'll be starting, and we need people with the skills that you just talked about, the trade skills, the certifications, to be able to meet those needs. And in fact, we're talking probably 500 to even 600 or 700 jobs in the summer of 2022. We have already had a big impact, I think, on the Bahamas with the graduates who have been through the system over the many years that BTVI has been in the country, serving all kinds of different industries, from cosmetology to trades to IT. And we're proud of the graduates and the work they've done in the country. They've proven that they can do it, and we just need more now because of the nature of the economy. Everyone's pointing to a global skills gap in specific areas.
Mm-hmm.
People with the types of trade skills that we offer, I think, will, as you pointed out, have a great opportunity at jobs. And the future of work basically is around career-oriented skills. And upskilling is the key word in 2022. So we're delighted to have a couple of our graduates here. They can speak about the kind of work that they've done. We also want to thank Ms. Thompson and the Fund Development Group for getting the alumni associations up and running. It's really important that we connect the new students with those who've gone before them, and that provides a lot of networking opportunities, job opportunities, knowledge sharing, and so we're excited. It's going to be a really positive year, and I think you're going to hear a lot of good things coming out of BTVI in the next few months.
Yeah, I'm excited already just on the thought of what we're hoping to see happen in the shifting of some of the interests that we have even in country. When we're talking about new opportunities with fintech, how do we retool? How do we take advantage of the agricultural sector and those trending areas of marine biology and some of the more hands-on things that make this economy a more interesting and a diversified space. So I'm just going to throw out there now, because we have all of these wonderfully, these beautiful people on screen. I'm just going to ask the question, and hopefully somebody's going to shout out and say me. But for someone who I know that the government has really, administrations have really put a lot of money into BTVI. When I say money, wanting more students to come in with less of a concern about income, how much money you have. What do we have as the admissions process, courses that are there for, in particular, not just fresh out of school, high school, but those who are looking to retool in a changing world?
Let me start off on that one, if you don't mind, and I'll
Go
allow
ahead.
the other three to jump in. But basically, most tuition is free. There is an admissions charge, an application fee. It's not that large, and there's a graduation fee. But the tuition, the big part of it, to allow accessibility, has been paid for by a very generous government scholarship program, which some countries in the world are seeing as important. But to be honest with you, I think the Bahamas is leading the charge in that area, and so kudos to them. So the application process is pretty simple. We don't just offer courses from September to December, from January to April or May, like traditional schools. We have various start dates. In fact, here in Freeport, we have a graduating class next week. They started 8 weeks ago on a short certified program in the trades. We have about 200 new students in the trades starting in 2 weeks here in Freeport. And we're going to do the same in Eleuthera, Exuma, Abaco, trying to get as far out into the Family Islands as we can. And so that's one of the things I think you'll see in the new economy, that the education will basically be based around the blended courses, partly online, partly face-to-face, shorter courses, stackable courses, so you can come in and out when you feel it's appropriate, but certified courses. That's critical.
Excellent.
We had a quick thing. We had a meeting with some people in Norman's Key this week, multi-million-dollar residential development. And the quotes from the construction manager is, please send us as many Bahamians as you can, and please send them certified to us, and we will hire them.
I wanted to ask this with vocational colleges around the world. There's a sort of a standard, right? There's a look for. We're seeking to be at this level of accreditation. We're seeking to push out this level of students. What is our accreditation level in our training courses? Are we looking at the fact that, hey, for example, you're coming out with a cosmetology certification? Is that certification to what level? International, NACOB? What is our standard here?
It's NACOB, certainly, but we really prefer the international standard as well, because they provide students options. I mean, if it's recognized in the U.S. or Canada or globally, I mean, generally you get paid more for an international certification. And one thing I found consistent with students around the world is they like to get paid more. So we have City and Guilds courses. We have courses that are Cisco Academy certified, for example. We have this NCCER set of courses, which stands for the National Center for Construction Education and Research. And we really want to make sure that our students meet those globally competitive standards, which are just getting tighter. So, Ms. Black, you're right on the point there.
Something else before I get to some of the alumni, and of course, Ms. Thompson, who already has a fan all the way in North Carolina. Um, but in terms of the certain courses, what is trending now, of course, locally, I've seen is certification in things such as project management,
Mhm.
right? In some of these skills, agile and scrum, all of these things, I know nothing about them. I just periphery, you know, and my husband spent good money on getting certified somewhere else. And now I'm wondering if that could have been where we could have used free money and done did that at BTVI. I'm just
Yeah.
curious now, what there are these, trending courses. There are executive level courses that are being done, at different universities and technical spaces. Are there any of those trending type courses that are there with BTVI that will get the young professional saying, "Hey, I didn't know I can go to BTVI for this course"?
Mhm. Yeah, indeed there are. So we recently surveyed business people in the Bahamas and found that about 60% are concerned about the skill sets that Bahamians have and the fact that many need certification. So, for example, project management, NCCER has specific project management courses in construction, which in fact are free.
Wow.
And
Mhm.
so I apologize, I didn't tell you that earlier, but I would have saved you some money. But there are other examples of things like that. Anyway, the survey suggested that the biggest shortfall areas were IT. Everything's moving towards technology. That's the way of the future. Skilled trades, men and women. And I have to emphasize that. And we have two ladies here who have graduated from BTVI, but that's very important. A lot of people come to me in the Bahamas and say, I have a daughter and she's kind of interested in trades. Can she get in? Absolutely. There's a lot of room for and a lot of trade opportunities for females in the trade. So those are the two large areas, IT and trades. And by trades, I mean electrical, plumbing, those types of things.
All right. Well, you know what? I want to hit some of our hit. That's obviously, I've been doing the hit back way too long because that's what I say now. I want to chat with two of our alumni before I get to Ms. Thompson and funding, right? And wanting to know more about this fund development that she is the VP of. So let's talk about it. Titania Miller and is it Kadrin? Did I get that right, Miss Carey?
Yes, you got it right. Beautiful.
God is good. God is good because I was sure I was gonna mess that up. And Titania, did I get that right?
Perfect.
Look at him, won't he do it? All right, so ladies, tell me a bit about your experience with BTVI. I want to know more and encourage the world, child. Let the people know this thing free.
Well, BTVI, I must say, it's a solid foundation. It's like building a house. And if you have a solid foundation, you could go high. You could end up with a split level. So right now, I'm a split level with an elephant inside. So
Hey,
my stint at BTVI was wonderful. I graduated in 2007 with a 4.0, and then I went back to complete, that was Office Systems and Administration. Then I went back in 2009 for the associate degree program. And when I enrolled, one of my lecturers said to me, once you start, you can't stop. I said, no, I only just need a little associate degree and I good. Well, could I tell you, you see, I have a master's degree now. And
really?
I saw
Through
about-
BTVI?
I started off with my associate, but the foundation was so strong that
Excellent.
they taught us at a master's level. They not because it's a technical, they think the name BTVI is a technical and you get little easy work. Those lecturers, they taught UB, your University of the Bahamas, and they teach us that the work is the same, not because it have a technical name that you're going to get watered down work. The work is on par with UB. And for that, because of the foundation I got at BTVI, I went on to do my bachelor's degree. And it was so much easier. And then when I went to do my master's degree, it was so much easier because, truthfully, there's a little hint. Y'all now, quote me. I tell you, quote me. I use some of my work. Because the lecturers and the quality of work that they taught. So I was able to refer back to my notes from 2009.
Wow.
So I encourage persons to come on board. You will get quality education. And when I was at BTVI, when I graduated with my associate degree, I got the Vice President Award. That is Miss Colley Award. That was my stint, and I love BTVI. My colleagues at, yes, that's just a little plug for social services. I would have encouraged 85 to 95% of them to go to BTVI.
Wow.
And my daughter is graduating from beauty trade in May. Plus, my mother enrolled at the age of 55 and she graduated from BTVI. My two sisters graduated from BTVI. My cousin graduated from BTVI.
He was an evangelist.
I love BTVI, so I encourage person to educate yourself, and BTVI is a family. So I'm telling you, join BTVI.
Man, listen, that's a word, eh? I mean, what's the name of that lady who used to be a televangelist? The wife. What was the name of the wife with the pink hair, big makeup? What was her name?
Oh, I know.
Baker.
Tammy Baker.
Tammy Baker
With
without the hair.
eyelashes.
Yeah. Without the boy. Listen, I was about to give you tithe just for BTVI. Kadrin, tell me a bit about your experience.
I feel exactly the same way. BTVI has given me an excellent foundation. I graduated last year, which was 2020, and I'm moving on to my bachelor's. I'm doing it online with the University of Edinburgh in Scotland. And I must say, not that I am having an easy time, but it's an easier time because I find that my lectures at BTVI, they were more
Rigid.
I feel as if, they were a little bit more harder on us than my lecturers now because it's self-paced. And the lecturers at BTVI, they know how to teach adult learners. And I think even the selection process of actually choosing lecturers that come there, the lecturers are at a caliber, I think, of any university anywhere in the world. I can say that, and I am the same way as Ms. Miller. I think I've given out more paper applications in 2019 and 2018 when they were available. Persons, they start off with just doing, I could just do nails. And then they do nails and they come back, girl, I can go do the whole cosmetology. Then after they do cosmetology, girl, they do sewing. And then they do this and then they do that. I hooked because of you, I've been wearing here for like 4 years. My husband asked me, what happening? Why I can't stop going? BTVI is an excellent foundation for anything. And like the president said, they have relationships with different colleges and universities. And I was able to simply just give them my transcript where I'm going right now. And they took my credits with no hesitation. Right. It was easy. Wonderful. They just took my associates and I was just ready to go. And the thing is, because it's a trade school, I could call anybody. I could call a plumber. I could call a tile expert. I could call someone and say, "Gal, I need my hair pressed. You got, 5 minutes. Girl, come fit me in." These are lifelong friends, lifelong relationships that you build with your classmates. Because even though I did office trades, I still sat in classes with persons that were doing other things throughout the campus. So you build relationships with persons, and it's just like when you're in high school, you never forget people. And these are excellent people. And you have persons from different age groups, from 18, like Ms. Miller say, all the way up to 50, 60. You have persons who were in the work field for 20, 30 years. They're about to retire. I always wanted to do here, and they come to BTVI and they start a new career at the end of their retirement. And that's what BTVI gives you. They give you your dream, whether you're in your 20s, your 30s, or whether you hit in retirement and you decide you can finally do what it is that you want to do. So BTVI is excellent for anyone at any age. And that's why we need the alumni, because we're here to mentor people and we're here to get everybody involved and keep BTVI going.
Yes.
Listen, I mean, this is a word you guys are, that's not selling it. Ms. Thompson, this isn't even called selling it. This is living it, eh?
Absolutely. That's it. Listen, Nahaja, I know that you mentioned that you wanted to hear about fund development, and I love my role in fund development, whereby I'm able to engage corporate persons, individuals, foundations, and the rest of it. However, listen, these young ladies who were talking to you just now, there's a reason why they sitting here, You hear them talking, like you say, like they evangelists and the rest of that. There's a reason why we have some news to share with you today. For many years, we wanted to launch the Alumni Association. And so speaking with my boss, Dr. Robertson, at the beginning of the year, which is July, the beginning of our school year, he said, let's look at those those partners whom we have not engaged. There are some constituents that we've not fully engaged. So what are we going to do this coming year? And we agreed, you know what? The alumni are those, listen, we need to really embrace them. So what did we do? In August of last year, we started a speaker series, a virtual speaker series. Out of that, we realized that, the alumni are not really being engaged. We had conversations that were started, and we realized that we had to take it to another level. So what we did, we cast our net out there, and there were alum who agreed to step forward and to say, you know what, we're going to start planning. We are going to get this alumni association up and running. And so the two young ladies who just spoke with you, they're actually the presidents for the two chapters of the BTBI Alumni Association, which we came to launch this evening. So that's why we're really here.
Oh, on the hit back? That's what we're doing today?
Yeah,
Listen,
we
I
launched
thought
on
you
the
it.
just wanted me to. Man, how come they didn't put this on the banner for me, man? This is my bad. This was
That's
supposed to
all
be
right.
on the banner.
No, but that's okay, because now we can tell you. They're going to tell you. They started to tell you about their background, their experience at BTVI, and so now they're going to tell you more about the actual association and what they have planned. So Tritania is in Grand Bahama with Dr. Robertson, and and Kadrin is in New Providence. Now, Titania, y'all don't get to use Dr. Robertson. Got to come back to us. He only visiting with them, Nahaja. He's
Man,
only visiting
so
with
they
them.
say. Yeah, I know a lot of people go to Grand Bahama and never come back. I'm just saying, they just stay. Just throw that out there. But ladies, please tell me a bit more about this alumni association, because of course these are very important, institutions in any real educational institution. So go ahead.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, first and foremost, I want to tell you about our mission statement and our vision statement. So I'd like to read that so the audience could know exactly what we're about. Our vision statement states the Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute Alumni Association will be known for advancing the Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute by connecting alumni to one another and through meaningful programs, benefits, service for facilitating supportive encouragement, engagement between the institute and its graduates, and for creating local connection with global network. So we're all about networking. And our mission statement says to develop and foster a mutual beneficial relationship between the Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute and its alumni. We will accomplish this by providing educational opportunities, social programs, benefits to meet diverse materials and interests to the institute and the membership, while cultivating network opportunities that enables individuals to act locally with a global mindset. And I want to encourage all persons from every walks of BTVI who would have walked through and did one semester, come and join the alumni. Find us on our Facebook page and our email, which is alumni@btvi.edu.bs. And that's for anyone to contact us. Our contact numbers is 502 63 21 or 23. So we're here to reach out and to help persons. It's all about networking. Like Ms. Kadrin Carey said, it's about networking.
And just to add to that, I want people to know that BTVI has been around literally from 1949 when it started out as the National Technical School. Then it was the National Technical Institute. And then it became the National Technical College. Then it was C.R. Walker Technical College. Then it was the Industrial Training College. So if you went to quote unquote BTVI in any of those iterations, you are a BTVI alumni. You are BTVI strong. See the shirt?
Yeah.
See the cup? We are BTVI strong. You are an alumni. Come and join us. Come and help everybody. We want you. We need you. Just to join in. Come on.
Nahaja, we're casting this net far and wide. We have some who's among our alumnus. Kevin Evans, you may have heard about him, and if you don't hear about him yet, listen,
Oh, he's
Bahamas.
brilliant.
Listen, Kevin is headed to New York Fashion Week in
Yes,
February.
Wow.
Listen, and he is our alumnus. He graduated from our fashion program. We have other persons, Tim Dames. Everybody know Tim's refrigeration. Well, Tim, we claimed him. Tim went through CR Walker Technical. And so we also have Sydney Sinclair. You know, Sinclair Rent-A-Tool. That's our own too. Monique Clinton, we call it a female carpenter in heels.
Yes.
You know her as Customs Creation 242. That's our alum. Ryan Bethel, Touch Control. Debbie Mills, Handy Mom. And notice I didn't say Handy Man. I said
Mom.
Handy Mom. Hello, get it right. Abel Seaman, Justin Johnson. Now with the RBDF Air Wing. Listen, we claim them. They are ours. And I'm calling these names. And I know that you out there, you have a Debbie who's probably doing your nails. You have a Jonathan who's probably your plumber. And they would have graduated from BTVI or ITC or CR Walker. We are asking all of you to reach out to us because we know that there's a whole lot that you can give back to the institution. And many times when people think alumni, they only think about getting money. But there's so much experience. Dr. Robertson alluded to it a little earlier when he spoke about the fact that so many of our alumni are self-employed. So they offer internship opportunities. They offer mentorship opportunities. So we are encouraging alumni to reach out to us because we want to hear from you.
I'm just, first of all, I'm very excited about this, right? Alumni actually help to even increase the stature of a space, the history of it, so that we can see greatness came from. And so I am a big supporter of that, to know that we can then encourage our young people, encourage our neighbors and say, hey, listen, did you know that so-and-so came from X, Y, and Z, and you can sit in that same class? And that helps to bring that pride and that community. And then that alumni association also, y'all don't be cheap. We need a new wing. The children need a new park. Something, I don't know.
Speak it now, Miss Black. You understand how this goes.
Understand. We need a satellite campus somewhere else. You understand. So these are things that, of course, an alumni association would be fantastic just to begin to foster this next level of community. So this is very exciting. I have to ask, again, how are you reached? I know, Ms. Miller, you gave some information on that. How do folks, one more time, let them know how they can reach the association?
They could either email by alumni@btvi.edu.bs, or they can call 502-6321 or 23. Or they could reach out to our Facebook page, leave a message, and somebody will answer. Or they could inbox on Facebook and somebody will answer.
I love that. President Robertson, before I let you go, any last words you want to add to this?
Well, kudos to Miss Miller and Carrie. I think they've said everything. Everybody's different. Everybody needs different options. Some people go for a couple of courses and then go into the workforce. Some people will do an associate's degree. Some people, I'm not naming Miss Miller, will do a master's degree. But the people are all different. And what we offer is the different pathways. They can go to Canada with their credits. They can go to the United States, and they can go to work. Lots of different options. And I'm just saying to people, while we have these tuition-free opportunities, let's use them to the best of our advantage. Let's do something and learn a trade and earn a living. That's really the catchword from BTVI.
I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for the time. And keep me posted, please. I'd love to know more how I can help in any way.
BTVI. We will definitely keep you posted, Ms. Black.
Yeah, I like you, Ms. Carrie. Carrie's like, I will definitely. Yeah. Listen, we will exchange numbers. Check the private chat so that we can stay in touch. Yeah?
Yes.
Thank you all so much. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. Special thanks to Miss Miller, to Miss Carey, to President Robertson, and of course, Associate VP of Funding, the one and only Miss Thompson, who apparently seriously has a whole doctor in North Carolina who definitely wants her to know that she still exists. So Miss Thompson, Miss Dr. Scott, Miss Thompson saw you. All right, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, let's be joined with my good friend, C.A. Nuri. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black, Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. Fidelity, we're good for
how important collecting your money can be to the success of your business. Start your relationship with Fidelity today so that we can show you the many options available to you with our merchant services. From click and pay options online to merchant terminals and e-commerce options. We're here to help your business succeed. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit any of our branches.
We're good for you.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
The Water and Sewage Corporation advises the public, its customers, and residents of Taylor Street, Nassau Village, that the corporation will commence improvement work on January 31st, 2022 for a period of 10 weeks. During this period, there may be interruption in water supply, road closures, and detours around the work area. Where possible, motorists are asked to avoid the area between the hours of 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. daily. The corporation apologizes for any inconvenience caused and appreciates your patience as they work to improve their level of service.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
It's the hit back with Nahaja Black. It's the hit back with Nahaja Black. It's the hit back with Nahaja Black. It's the hit back with Nahaja Black.
And we're back. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black, Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. So I hope that everybody's doing well, taking care of yourself. My good friend CA and Yuri is going to be with us in a quick second. It's been a long time since CA has joined us on the show. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Of course, some things that I have actually not been able to speak to because of my not being in place. And I want to say special thanks to all of the guests who hosted for me this week. Corey Roll on Monday and yesterday, Brenda Harris. But we got a lot of stuff to discuss, right? So, of course, we had the whole, I think I did touch on the school thing, right? So we're having these issues with schools. Well, two, T.A. Thompson and Ellen Coakley, I think were the only two that had to close because of some structural issues. So they're closed. Teachers, by and large, are back to work. They staged a sit-out for those two schools, if memory serves me. And then we had, so that was one topic of conversation. And then we have re-energized or brought back to the fore again, housing, right? Housing is being brought back. And then this morning, issues in the news today talking about taxation, right? Should property owners, the high-end property owners, be taxed differently, separately, a different route than the others, right? So it kind of feels like going back to that story where the former administration had decided on a separate tax regimen for property owners, second homeowners, for properties over a certain value in any ways. And they got a letter, right? Now, there are a lot of people who've sent letters to the office of the prime minister, and that letter never gets, they don't even acknowledge that it was sent. At best, it gets, I saw it, or it's here. You get an it's here note. And that's about it with that story, right? So worst case scenario, what you find is that this feels like the letter that went to the that ended up back in the House of Assembly, and then the former Prime Minister had to say, well, no, I think it was KP Turnquest saying that, no, we changed our minds. We had to change course. So now we have BRIA, the Bahamas Real Estate Association, kind of putting their foot down and telling telling the government this idea ain't gonna fly. We don't like this idea, and we're going to dive into that. I know CA definitely has some feelings about that. But before we get started on that, I wanted to talk to you about what's going on. Housing, right? So housing seems to be a major initiative of this administration. Housing was one of the things, one of the first ministers on this show was Mrs. Jo Beth Colby Davis. By the way, can I say, I don't care how you feel about it, but that woman's good. She's good. Have you ever listened to her in her question and answer process? She's not on script. She has full knowledge of a great remit of her remit, right? So what is under her purview. She has a full understanding of it. She's able to answer multiple questions. Very impressed with her today, as I've been all a while, but just continually watching her under fire or under, being asked to answer questions that normally, I'm sorry, many ministers don't have that level of information. They go by the script, and you hope that there are questions where they end up saying, I didn't know that answer. Let me find someone else. So let's go through some of the press conference today when we're talking about housing. Housing is a major economic issue. Now, me, honestly, I'll tell you all now, I don't believe that a house should be your first home. They shouldn't be your first investment in real estate. I really don't. I think you should go with rental property, and don't go with 2 units, a duplex, go with a triplex. A triplex gives you more leverage because when vacancy happens, if you lose a tenant, one is still able to pay some portion of your rent, of your mortgage. A mortgage without any other income or revenue is just an expense until you own the place. Then it becomes an asset, or until you use or you have equity, and then maybe use the equity to flip and get something else that is income generated. But I'm not a big home person. First, I like to hedge my bets. So I like the idea of rental property. So if a government got any land, tell them, so you got any multifamily land? And there's the triplex, because that's what I think the government needs to be doing, some part of that, But we're a big rental country, and so that benefits those, right? It benefits those who can't afford a home. But we want people to have that. A home is really a liability until it becomes an asset. And that's the truth. A home that is by itself is a liability until it becomes an asset. You can buy a home, right? You can get a mortgage on a home and then let someone rent it. That's my thinking of it. Because you want to be able to cover the cost of the mortgage and still have some residual income, because a job is not security. Job security is not a real thing. You can lose your job and lose your house. So if you get a house, if you say, listen, if the government gives you a low-cost home, you see a low-cost home opportunity, it's a 3-bedroom, convert the 3rd bedroom into a 1-bedroom efficiency, and then Airbnb it, VRBO it, something else. Don't let it just be your only thing, because there is no such thing as job security. No one has it, unless I don't see anyone having it. In this process, there were careers, jobs that stayed resilient. In my household, we were fortunate that both my husband and I were in fields that remained resilient. That was media and IT that remained resilient. We were needed in the pandemic. But there were other careers that did not have it. That's the luck of the draw. But what we also did have was that we have rental income. So at least the mortgage would be covered. So that even if both of us didn't, we would still have a home. We might not have light, right? So what I'm saying is, as we talk about home ownership, I want us to view home ownership as something that can propel you to the next space and level. That being in a home, it will be a 30-year, 25-year burden. Unless somewhere in there by year, if you accelerate your payments, this is not supposed to be this discussion today because I want to talk about what was said about the home. But unless you accelerate your payments and say that you're able to, whilst there is more in surplus, accelerate your payments by an extra 100, 200, depending on the percentages that you can, putting it solely on the principal, reducing the time of your mortgage and the amount you spend getting quicker to a level of equity where you can pull out that equity and then reinvest it in something else, it's just a liability. It will fall in your expenses and liabilities column of your budget. It is not an asset until it is paid for, because then you still got to sell it or you still got to use the equity from it, but it's yours and it adds value. Okay, we digress on that point. Anyway, so now we're talking about low-cost homes, right? A home does give there are social benefits to living in a home. Social benefits that can exceed, many instances, the fiscal benefit of home ownership. So there is a social factor that must be taken into consideration when we're talking about home ownership. Home ownership means that I can have and I always tell this story, my mother, a single mother with 6 children, her biggest thing was getting us into a home. That provided stability. It was a small 3-bedroom house in Elizabeth Estates. We still have it today. My mother still lives there today. That is still the family home. That's the family stead, right? But it gave us stability. In particular, me, because I'm the last child. I only know about not living anywhere. When I was 5, we moved in. So I only know that, and that gave stability. That helps to foster, family ties and better education in your children, more confidence in your children. These things are important. So that is the case. Of course, someone shared with me, I have some really good guests next week. So shows next week that I had to pre-record because of the guest time. So I can't wait to air those. But was said to me yesterday, do you know that someone said to me that has been proven that home ownership, families tend to stay together, marriages stay together. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. Because when you get divorced, we got to split this house. Anybody got time for that? We are sharing this house. I don't want to give you this house, so let's stay together. I can believe that. So anyways, someone says, do you know about any B&Bs in the Bacardi area? Yes. What? Y'all don't understand. Vacation rentals are everywhere in Nassau, all across the Bahamas, and they are making money. They are turning over. And people are able to live in profit off of their vacation rentals. Just share that information with you. So anyways, there is a vital importance to it. And this is something that, again, this is a part of the social fabric. I philosophically, in terms of wealth generation, it is the better tool than renting. In terms of wealth generation, it is a step. I can do things with my home like a vacation rental. I could take advantage of some things with SBDC and say, hey, I want to, change my property now from a 3-bedroom unit. One of my kids is gone into a 2-bedroom unit with an efficiency. I need a loan for it. Or you can go and look at the generational property that you have, claim it, and build on it. But again, not that show. So anyways, we had Senator Colby Davis, so that's Senator Lord, JoBeth Colby, on today. And she was talking about housing. And so, of course, all of the regular tenets of questions came about. And I just thought these were fascinating questions, and her responses were very interesting as well. So I want to let you hear this one before we go to break. She was asked about Prospect Ridge development. Again, this is this old story, but it's come back now because, of course, what was announced to us was that this development is pretty much done for. And here's the question that she was asked and her answer.
After your statement that the technical team advised you to move away from the Prospect Ridge development, former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis, he said that, he questioned politics, and he said he has a list of 30 names of young Bahamians who are pre-approved for that development. Any response from you as the minister now?
Well, we have the list of persons that are pre-approved. And like I stated on yesterday when I was speaking to the press, that those pre-approvals they coincide with actually value. So the value that you approve for by your financial lender. And so that doesn't take them out of the category to being homeowners. That's still puts them in the category of being homeowners. It's just that it may change the location of where the property is. And that does not rule out West. We have already invested in having someone begin searching for other places out West. And I had a very fruitful conversation yesterday, and I'm hopeful that we will locate new locations out West for those persons who wish to live out West. But the East is a beautiful place to live as well. Elizabeth is very beautiful to live, so don't get distracted. We are definitely looking for a property out West, and we think we may be close to locking down some areas that'll be better and for us to start right away.
Thank you, Kyle. We go to...
Okay, so I'm going to go. I know we have to take a break real soon. But I like how she didn't, because before there was this time when you probably would have thought that Ms. Colby Davis, a Minister of Transport and Housing, may have responded to the former Prime Minister's, sort of jab in a different way. And she handled it very gracefully. She responded very intelligently and said, hey, listen, it is what it is. This is the end of the road on that idea. But, we're going to find ourselves in some high-end options. But look at, well, I like how she said out east, trying to big up, but listen, I so happy for y'all who still live out east. That means unless y'all live out this way, we're traffic light. But I don't know where we're selling out east. But I thought it was interesting this. So now the question of Prospect Ridge being put to bed and the former Prime Minister's response. I thought a response was good to that. And now we will go after the break. I want to go a little bit deeper into some of the other things that she discussed. But you're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja, Black Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. We'll be back after this.
How important collecting your money can be to the success of your business. Start your relationship with Fidelity today so that we can show you the many options available to you with our merchant services. From click and pay options online to merchant terminals and e-commerce options. We're here to help your business succeed. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit any of our branches.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
J.S. Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
The Water and Sewage Corporation advises the public, its customers, and residents of Taylor Street, Nassau Village, that the corporation will commence improvement work on January 31st, 2022 for a period of 10 weeks. During this period, there may be interruption in water supply, road closures, and detours around the work area. Where possible, motorists are asked to avoid the area between the hours of 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. daily. The corporation apologizes for any inconvenience caused and appreciates your patience as they work to improve their level of service.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Good afternoon. I'm Tashina Robinson, and here's a look at some of the stories topping the news at this hour. Educator, pastor, and nation builder Charles W. Saunders has died. He was 91. From 1981 to 1997, Reverend Saunders served as president of the National Baptist Convention. A school and a highway was later named in his honor. Housing and Transport Minister JoBeth Colby Davis says the Davis administration wants to build more than 1,600 homes during its first term in office. The government wants to expand its program into the Family Islands and surpass the record set by a previous housing minister. Following the tragic death of 21-year-old Heavenly Treveus and the brutal beating death of 4-year-old Deonia Bella Walker, the Ministry of Social Services, in partnership with local nonprofit organizations, have formed a task force to assist victims of domestic violence. According to State Minister for Social Services Lisa Ramming, members of the task force will go into the community daily, seeking out those people who need their help. And with that, we wrap up your Guardian Network News headlines at this hour. I'm Tashina Robinson. Stay tuned. AP News is up next.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Biden and infrastructure. I'm Tim McGuire with an AP News Minute. President Biden in Pittsburgh to talk about the nation's aging infrastructure got a firsthand look at a bridge that collapsed today in the city. Later, Biden said,
across the country, there are 45,000 bridges in poor condition. It's just simply unacceptable.
There were minor injuries from the collapse, no fatalities. An emotional final salute to a rookie New York City police officer gunned down with his partner a week ago. At the service at St. Patrick's Cathedral, Dominique Lazuriaga talked about her longtime friend and husband of 4 months, 22-year-old Jason Rivera.
Jason is so happy right now that all of you are here. Through pain and sorrow, this is exactly how he would have wanted to be remembered. Like a true hero. Or like I used to call him, Big P.O. Rivera.
Rivera and Officer Wilbert Morrow were fatally wounded by a gunman who opened fire with a stolen semi-automatic pistol. I'm Tim McGuire.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
I put my thing down, flip it and reverse it. It's your primitive, it's why I need it. It's your primitive, it's why I need it. If you got a big, let me search it to find out how hard I gotta work. Yeah, it's your primitive, it's why I need it. It's your primitive, it's why I need it. Come on. I like to get the note.
All right, and we're back. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black, Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. If it's worth it, let me work it. Y'all know when sometimes some things to take you back, some things to take you back. I remember my good university days on that song. Whoop. Yep. Okay. No reason at all. It's Friday. My good friend C.A. Nuri. C.A., you too old to know that song, buddy. You too old for that song.
No. I was in college when that came out. But do you know that what is actually the reverse of the song? Yeah, it's actually a real word.
Yeah, so I've heard. I never listened. I never played it in reverse, but I believe that. I'm going to go with that. It's still one of the greatest. Missy Ellis.
Thank you very much for the invite to be on your show. I have had inbox asking me if I was banned. They haven't seen me on the Cecil Nuri and the Nahaja Black show for a while. And I said,
God.
No, we can go on hiatus. I'm listening to the show. I comment, I make comments. I'm still there. So, but it's good to be in your presence. You look lovely. Did you do your hair again?
Yeah. No, totally did. And nice. I always try to dress up for you. See,
I appreciate that. I appreciate you making the effort.
I have to. I have to for my good friend who just before coming on decided to wipe the shiny forehead. That's his.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We need to work on the buffing. You gotta buff it.
I need a camera person to shine the forehead.
You need like the little makeup patch and just tap it.
In school, I remember when I was in school, they had this red sponge. I don't see that anymore. I'm not sure if people do that red sponge thing anymore.
Yes, man. That red sponge still life. That's still a thing. I remember when I was in school though, that red sponge was it. Like that red sponge was it. Look at this person. This person says, "Welcome back, CA."
Yeah, it's a beautiful person that is.
I mean, I see this person. I mean, the name's curiously familiar. I just don't know. I don't know. Good to have you back, buddy. You've been missed. I've had people say, "What happened to CA?" I mean, like CA come in. That's the CA and Nahaja Black show.
Yes.
I don't even know why I entertained you. I really don't.
I don't know, but it sounds good. I like it.
I like it. It sounds good. It rolls. It has a nice ring to it. All right. So let's talk a bit now. So I was talking on
the 1,600 houses, and within 5 years. Yes, I heard you.
Actually, no. She said she's going to beat that. She's going to beat that record. That's the record, and she's going to beat that record. Someone says red sponge at Nicole's.
Yeah, you need to get me on red sponge, please.
Man, listen, why you tell me I didn't use my 2 red sponges? I gotta hook you up later. Red sponges is life. I'm telling you. All right. So the housing thing is interesting. Of course, the minister said, listen, we are going to, that's her goal. That's her goal.
Yes. A personal goal is commitment.
Yeah. I mean, these people telling you where all you could get the sponge from. Empire Shoe Loft. Shout out to that. I've never heard of that one, but okay. I get that one. So I thought it was interesting. Not even just the project, I was more marveled, not just by the project itself, the options of housing. I sat there marveling at the fact that, man, listen, you can tell I'm not used, Cecil. I'm not used. Because this minister she's on her feet. Y'all don't understand. I feel like there's a lot of, I hear some ministers speak, former ministers, and I get PTSD. I get triggered. And I start to freak out. I start to sweat. And I'm like, Jesus, they're still here. And then there are, this crew, and then you sit in particular the women down. And I'm like, boy,
all the women in the House Assembly are very articulate. And
I'm used to this, Cecil.
But see, I'm kind of defensive when you identify them as thinking that they were lower than before.
No, I wasn't. It wasn't. What I'm saying is,
expect greatness from our Bahamian women. So I tend not to laud on that, and because this is something I'm used to. Women
listen, we are all used to our Bahamian women speaking well. Now, what you ain't used to is our Bahamian women, the ones that we had the last. No offense. I feel like I did offend.
There's only 3 or 4 of them the last time.
Needless to say, I love what I'm hearing and watching with our women this lab. That's all I'm saying.
What you're trying to say with the last 3 or 4 women we had the last time?
They were great-ish. Okay? But moving on. So, because you really trying to get me in trouble.
Off that. You see where it's headed. Yes.
You ain't my friend on good days. I tell you that now.
No.
So the minister was asked a question, and I like how she is. This woman ain't doing no notes,
Yes.
I gotta say, this is pretty good. That means that she knows her ministry. These stuff were impressive to me, and that's how I know I really have been going through bad political relationships. But we digress. All right. So this was Mrs. Colby Davis. Yes, that's right. The Minister of Transport and Housing being asked about the quality of homes, which is always a question. When governments do homes, literally they either sink or swim. They put them somewhere where the ground is too soft and you watch the walls crack, or the house has to swim through flooded areas. So,
and I hear usually it's a contractor issue and not necessarily the land. And what is humorous is the same contractors and companies are being sought after and committed to again. But I digress. We don't have to go there. And it's the same people again. But it is what it is.
But she explained something even to that effect that I didn't know before. I thought it was interesting. But anyways, let's go to this question here and answer on the quality of homes. Special thanks to the journalist who asked this question, because it was on everybody's minds, I think. Here's the question.
What is being done to ensure quality and also in terms of affordability? Is there a cap? I know infrastructure costs are significant, but what is being done to ensure that the costs are in line with something that the average Bahamian can afford?
Speak to quality first. So we have put a paper before cabinet, because what I found when I went to the Department of Housing is there's an extreme shortage with staff that has certain skill set that's needed to be the support that you need as you're carrying out your subdivision projects. And because we're going to do here in New Providence and also in the Family Island, it's important for us to ramp up the manpower in terms of site managers and inspectors. And so we are now going through a process of getting more site managers into the Department of Housing and also more inspectors. And then we're also collaborating with the Ministry of Works to bring some manpower in from the Ministry of Works, who also does inspections for them. So it's a great partnership, and the team is being built now by our acting CHO, Aurel Lafleur, and I think we are doing a great job so that when we start expanding in areas such as Carmichael Village and wherever we find more property out west, we'll have enough persons to spread across New Providence to make sure they're on time inspecting. But on top of that, we're just making sure that the quality is important to us. And so that's why we're going through a detailed process in what we expect from our contractors and ensuring that we have a very tight leasing agreement. One of the other concerns that came out of some of the areas where we built homes in the past was that the process of getting persons approved on time and into the home as soon as the home was completed was quite lengthy. For example, we would have the homes completed and then persons wouldn't be getting their keys to homes until 6 or 8 months later. The problem with that is they're not in the home to actually test things out, open windows, slam doors, move about, turn on fans, light switches and everything, so they can say where an issue is, turn on faucets to say where an issue is while we're still in the warranty. So most of the times they were moving into the homes when we had ran out of the warranty, and that also cost us a little bit of issues because they would find problems that would have been taken care of right away had we gotten them in the home. So the reason why we started doing the open house and started to re-engage the public and the applicants is so that we can build that relationship with the lenders so that they can get their pre-approvals from now, and as soon as their houses are ready, we can build a list, and as the houses pop out of the ground, persons can get their keys, they can begin moving in the home and see what the issues are, if there are any issues, and have it remedied right away.
Your second question, Natario. Okay, so what did you think of that, Cecil? Let me tell you my thoughts on it. So interesting for me was the discussion, or where she, not the discussion, but where she commented that there was a warranty issue, right? That they took so long to get people in the house that then by the time folks are in the house, they've passed the warranty time period. I never heard that before. I never heard that. I was never aware of that before. Now, again, I love the fact that she was able to answer that question, and she answered it very much with a lot of information. But that's just, I liked it. Now, I'm trying to figure out if I liked it to the detriment of the answer, but the answer was reasonable to me. Your thoughts? That's why I need you to be my sensible person-ish sometimes, depending on the day.
Sense, Nahaja. It didn't make any sense at all. I'm not sure if your discernment is on. I'm kind of concerned. And reason for that. Personally, I never took advantage of the government housing project, so I don't know. I do not understand the process. But I have a brother, few people know that, who did take advantage of the government housing scheme project, where they put him on a list, and the list was long. It took him about 6 months to 9 months before they call him back to say that they have homes available. As soon as they have homes available, they call him up and say, we have 6 homes you can choose from. And then he said, yes, I want one in that area. And within weeks, he got the home. So to say that there's a warranty and a delay, and then knowing that there's a list, and they put you on a list and you build homes, it's kind of odd. You say you're going to build a house, you have the property available, You say bring your down payment, and the house will be made. No, you don't build house on slack. Build house on imagination and say, well, hopefully somebody will come and claim the house. Thousands of Bahamians are ready to buy the house. You just announced that the house is there. They will come with a down payment. So I hear the reasoning.
No, but a down
Reasoning
payment,
making-
Cecil, Cecil, just on that. No. You got to know better than that, though. I'm in a process now myself.
Okay.
Down payment been in. We on month 4.
Yeah.
Seeking extension.
Yeah.
Already knowing that we qualify, but there's still a process where the bank has to do its thing, and however long it takes, we have to suffer and wait. So there is a
and I understand that.
and
And I just want to interject to ask this. I'm not sure if you purchasing a already built building,
yeah,
or you're going to be building,
right?
And that makes all the difference. When we, wife and I, purchased our home, the house was not built, right?
Yep.
We went and inspect the site and say, okay, we want it on this hill, right? And we wanted at this particular size, and then we paid the down payment. Then the house started. They didn't start building no house until I start putting the down payment down.
The down payment was to hold on. So you already had the property.
No. It was their property. I just had to go and inspect it that I wanted that property.
Okay. So you did it. Okay. Because ours again would be different from that
Okay.
process as well. Because my process was for what we have now was that, hey, listen, we with the bank, Cecil. This is the same bank we started with. Everything was, I don't even know why we go through this. I really, this place will drive me to drink. But I digress. Anyways, where we started off this process where this is the land, bought the land first, Cecil. To get the land required 2 loan applications because they were late. So you pass the 6-month deadline and now everything old. And now I got to get survey again, appraisal again. I got to get all these other quotes that cost me money the first time again, just for the land. Now, Cecil, with all of the still assets that they have and seeing everything else, it's time to get the mortgage. Same foolishness happened. Had to do this thing twice. That's when the Negro and me raised up and I became the Black woman you don't want to see. Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Because how she don't get vexed in public, how she get vexed in private, right? And I went and got vexed in that bank with that good beige loan officer. She was very nice, right? And I say beige just to make sure you get a reference of it. And then, you raise your voice and then they turn red.
I had a visual.
Yeah. Then they turn a little red. And I was still diplomatic, but I was vexed, right? But I had to do that. So that means that just to get from Cecil, from purchasing the property where I still paying the loan, I'm paying the loan. Then to get the loan, the mortgage for the building, 2 years. 2 years. So I understand, and I'm now in part B of a story where this is now 4 months, right? Now, thank God. And it's different even now. It's more even more so now where you got to go out of country, right? Where they got to approve it outside of the country. So now the local vendors here are saying, oh, we got you, Ms. Blah. We really want to support this and blah, blah, blah. But we got to send it up this and do all of this. This is stressful. And this is for you have you show the means. And it's still taking this long. So I can understand what she's saying, that is quite possible. That, hey, listen, I can have the down payment. I got the down payment. Down payment been in the bank, Down payment and gone to the other people, lawyer. Long time. Problem is, I can't get a key. I don't own nothing. I'm in limbo. And if this continues to go longer, I could lose everything. So my thing is, this is a process. This is quite believable, the process in the country, what it takes.
And if I'm not
that's
mistaken,
what's frustrating.
Don't the mortgage corporation give loans? You don't go to the bank?
But not necessarily if you don't go to mortgage corp.
I mean, it's a government project that one would make sure all that goes smoothly.
Right now, the last place you should want to go is mortgage corp. Don't go to mortgage corp. Mortgage corp needs to go to Jesus. Don't go there. Don't go.
What you trying to say with mortgage corporation?
They know what they need to say, but they say, don't go there.
Okay.
Lord, I just say it. So I mean, it's believable. That part is believable. But I didn't know about the that there was a warranty, right? Like, so the contractor could just like break off running. Oh, well, it's 6 months and gone. And again,
any house what you built and 6 months ago, and you haven't found someone to move in. I'm concerned. Why build it?
But we've had homes a long time too. That's not a new thing either. Where homes have been built and they sit for a while because people don't qualify. Remember, we had this before, where you build it and people don't qualify for it, right? So they start off well and something goes awry. And this goes back to we need to figure out a lot of things in country on how do we get people to qualify. I've heard there's this whole discussion on how much should a house actually cost, right? How much should low income housing actually cost? I will say this, Cecil, the days of low income housing costing 60,000, no, let that go. Unless we doing a dome or you doing a tiny home, you ain't that season over. All right. 20 years ago, my sister could have done that. My sister did that 24 years ago. Land and property for $60,000.
Wow.
That sounds like a miracle.
Yes, it does.
So I don't know what we call low income housing, but buddy, it ain't what it used to
and
be.
perhaps we need to have that discussion too. We have a number of middle income working class people who cannot qualify for $180,000, no matter how you skew it and move it. You know, they cannot qualify for $130,000, no matter how you manipulate the system. The most they could qualify is about $80,000, and you may have to consider building smaller homes with inexpensive material. And I think that the government, who is in the business of giving Bahamians opportunity to have ownership, needs to investigate that. What is the cheapest house they can build for a segment of society, for working class people who are making $28,000, $30,000 per person, that income? How can they afford it? How can a single female teacher or woman teacher, they don't like the word female, sorry. How can a teacher, no, apparently female is a bad word. But anyway, how can a woman teacher, I just learned that today.
You learn from the wrong person. You're only as smart as your teacher, boo. That teacher was wrong.
Can afford a house, you know? How can a single nurse learn be able to afford a house? And we need to start having that discussion and making options and ways for them to qualify and be empowered. And I don't necessarily think that discussion is happening. You know that the last administration encouraged you to be married, to get married and stay married. And that's the only way you can get qualified for them. And we need to have better conversation, understanding the dynamics of the Bahamian situation, where a number of parents, or especially women, are single mothers, and they need a home to safeguard their children, and they cannot qualify because they don't have a spouse, or that the mortgage or the down payment or the house in general is just too much.
And a lot of this too is, see, that, and what you're saying is great points, that we need to have this discussion. But I also then say there has to be a point, there is an understanding that your purchasing power as time passes changes, right? Yes. As inflation happens, we're going to see the changes in your purchasing power. The money that was my father could make then and its value and how much it could do, and his units that he has today, all off of tips, that you could make all the tips you want today. My niece making supposedly the same amount of tips that he was making, and she still can't get a house, right? So, and he was able to build rental units. This is my father's not rich, right? The rental units, they need love and care. They need some TLC, but they have their value. My point in all of that is saying, at some point though, this is why I do the Wednesday shows. We need to start some serious financial education and planning at an earlier age. And there is strategy. There is strategy to finding yourself in a better situation. There is strategy to it, right? Married or single, but there's a very intentional path to that. You have to be very intentional with it. And then don't be afraid also to leave the nest. Sometimes you've got to leave the space in this, and I don't mean the nest, meaning the country. Broaden your scope. Get your certification at BTVI. Go into the gig economy online. Find other ways to make money. Plus, then there are structural things that in terms of government policy that we can do within education in and of itself. Education in and of itself can then prepare us for what is the financial or fiscally prudent ways of handling money. That if you have, with churches, we go and christen children. But instead of just christening the child, the churches now can be in concert with some of these spaces like C-File, or other spaces that say, hey, listen, let's go into a financial planning system. Instead of paying all your tithe to the church, 5% to the church, 5% to your child's educational fund. All right, I know. I see how you furrow your brow.
No. that 10% is not the church owned. That's God's money. You can't be robbing God.
Well, last time I see God don't put his hand down and take it out of the church or cash it as a check.
Our hands is God's hands.
Some of y'all hands dirty. This ain't the show. Anyways, but there has to be something where the social institutions also comes into play to help us where we have not gotten educational, that sort of training. Like your parents didn't train you about finances, right? So then now church got to train you about finances. Pastor Smith, with his church there off of Carmichael Road, does a wonderful job in financial freedom and getting his membership to understand that these are the tenets of financial freedom. So there must be social fabrics. I'm saying Nahaja, you ain't say it, but there has to be some systems that should work together, society and government, to create ways in which we learn. We have to change our mind. You can't spend and then want. You spending on these things that you like, little wants, but then you end up one day say, I need a house, but you can't afford any down payment. I can make you an $80,000 house. If I say that the down payment is 10%, do you have $8,000? You can't save. But now it has become an issue that the government has to solve this. No, this is a personal problem that you have to solve. You have to discipline yourself to figure out, how do I save this? And then we must create tools and avenues by which someone can save. So listen, you go ahead and you do ASU, but are there safer venues that you can go ahead and put your $20 a week, right? We have to increase the minimum wage. It is what it is. We cannot be, someone says, don't touch the tide. We cannot be talking about empowering people and they are still living well below the livable wage line. We're living and working in poverty. So there's so many things to discuss on that, but at the same time, there's personal responsibility and accountability. Your life can end up in the way you want it to be. Might not be the dream, but we can make some more prudent fiscal decisions. Because if the house is still $80,000, that's low cost. I know how the house could look. That's a low cost home. That's a tiny home, right? That's a tiny home, right? Maybe it's a 900 square. I think we could even do 90. I think you can do like a minimum. You could do a $9,000, $80,000.
Yes.
You could do a 900 to 1,000 square foot home for 80.
And one of the problems is this property is expensive, right? And the property, in order to move away from that, government would need to lower the price of their property and to build on that, to have the house itself built cheaply, right? But I wanted to make the point that there's a difference between a starter home and a low-cost home. And I think that perhaps government needs to encourage Bahamians to invest in a starter home, which a starter home could be a one-bedroom house or a one-bedroom cottage. And you can live there until you can afford something else and put that on rent and then qualify for a two-bedroom house where you can start a family then. But there needs to be some sort of empowerment where Bahamians can own something as an investment. And even though $80,000 may be considered minimal at this present time, a number of Bahamians can't afford it. And imagine that they have low-cost homes up to $180,000. Who can afford that, making $28,000 a year? And that's
by yourself.
And
yeah, that's a tough one.
Especially when you're thinking nurses making that much and police officers making that much. A number of civil servants won't be able to qualify, and we need to find ways on how to empower them and make sure that they're able to qualify.
And this is where. So you start crunching numbers, right? And you made some great points there. See, and you're rejoining me. We're talking about housing. And so you start to crunch the numbers and you see how it's possible and how it can work. Mortgages run from 25 to 30 years. If I'm talking about empowerment, if I'm the ministry, I'm not just looking at homes. And I said at the beginning of this segment, or another segment, this particular discussion, that it shouldn't be. We are renters en masse because many cannot afford a home. Those who can afford something, instead of a home, get rental property, get rental units. That way you're leveraging yourself. A house is not an asset, and it's mostly a liability for the 25 years. So I say get the rental unit. Instead of it always being house. Do it where you have rental properties as an option. So the person who wants to do it could say, hey, listen, I can get $120,000, myself and my spouse, and we are going to rent this and leverage it so that, hey, listen, at the end of it, we are able to say that we have an income here and more than one unit. Now, you can't do duplex. I said it already. You got to do triplex. That's when you really got leverage. But there was a time when people would only do duplexes. You remember that, Cecil, when everybody's just doing duplexes?
Yeah, I remember that. Yes, I still remember that. I know why I opted not to do it, but I mean, yes, I understand.
No, I understand. But for some, listen, you're a married man, you and your wife. That's great.
And churning them. I don't like my churning them against other people.
No,
I can't have other people next to my girl churning them. So no, I couldn't get no apartment, no duplex, because I have a problem. You living next door. You know, you can live next door someplace else.
Listen, I will tell you now.
Plus, I need yard space for my dog.
I'm ready for my own space. I will say that now. I am ready for my own space, but I love the fact that it gave me leverage and it gave me opportunity. So I know that we are fiscally in a better space because of that leverage, right? But what I'm saying is, if you're younger, do it. Do it whilst you're young. If you're older, listen, you definitely need to do it. If you're so close to 60, you need income. Don't draw no national insurance. You ain't got no real retirement. You need that additional income. Or get the house, split it, rent it. Now, I ain't like that idea either, but that's an option. That's an option. Anyway, see. One more clip before we go and switch gears, because I want to talk about, actually, we need to take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about this whole thing with BREA, right? The government and taxation and BREA and their stance that, hey, the government is doing an illegal action, right? An illegal action talking about taxing them.
We're talking folly, pure folly.
BREA vexed to ratted, my boy. Vexed to ratted. Some says so many distressed or repossessed homes in these banks' portfolios. They've been sitting unoccupied for years. Yet banks make it so hard for ordinary people to qualify for a mortgage. If people can prove they're paying $1,200 for a 2-bed rental, then why can't they pay mortgage to own something? Agreed, Nadia. And it drives me crazy. Banks, look here. That's a whole other revolution that need to happen in this world. The way our bank system treats us, especially. You ever had a bank account, Cecil? Random thought. And you tell them this is how much you're going to put in your bank account when you open it. God help you if you go $2 over that. Because then they're going to call the internal bank popo. This Negro just had put an extra $2 on their account. Man, the woman called me. Excuse me. Hi, Ms. Black. We noticed you have an extra above your limit this month. I said, yes. Can you tell us where you got it from? Hi. Look at your account. You'll see where it come from. Can you tell us if it was a job or is it? Hold on, sweet girl. I don't know you. I don't know you. You're getting my information. God bless you. I out here. Listen, I can't. I'm unable to cover these banks. We'll be back after this.
It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Burger King Nassau is taking spice to new heights with the new Baja Whopper and Baja Crispy Chicken sandwiches. Enjoy your choice of a flame-grilled Whopper or a crispy chicken filet topped with chipotle sauce, guacamole, jalapenos, cheese, lettuce, and tomato, all on a fresh potato bun. The new Baja sandwiches at Burger King Nassau pack plenty of flavor, and with an ice-cold Pepsi and fries or onion rings, it's the perfect way to fill your day. The Baja Whopper and Baja Crispy Chicken sandwich are only available at Burger King Nassau, where taste is king.
When I got prostate cancer, my family didn't know if I was going to live at Cancer Treatment Centers of America. Within days, I got an appointment They presented me with treatment options, and they set up a robotic prostatectomy. When my scans came back, there are no signs of cancer. They don't see you as a number, they see you as a part of the family. I'm going on with my life. It's a real gift.
Call us at Cancer Treatment Centers of America.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
We believe in relationship banking. We take pride in getting to know our clients. You have access to knowledgeable, approachable ambassadors and financial coaches so that we can recommend the best product for you. At Fidelity, we care about you. From your financial health to your physical health, we can relate to you because we're just like you. Come and start your relationship banking experience with us today. Visit us online at fidelitygroup.com. Visit any of our branches in Nassau or Grand Bahama, or phone 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 for Freeport.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Uncle Ricky, would you read us a bedtime story, please, please?
All right, you kids get to bed. I get the storybook. Y'all tucked in? Here we go. Once upon a time, not long ago, when people wore pajamas and lived life slow, where laws were stern and justice stood, and people were behaving like they ought to good, there lived a little boy who was misled by another little boy, and this is what he said. Me and you tonight, we're gonna make some cash, robbing old folks and making the dash. They did the job, money came with ease, but one couldn't stop. It's like he had a disease. He robbed another and another, and a sister and a brother. Tried to rob a man who was a DT undercover. The cop grabbed his arm, he started acting erratic. He said, "Keep still, boy, no need for static." Punched him in his belly and he gave him a slap. But little did he know the little boy was strapped. The kid pulled out a gun, he said, "Why'd you hit me?" The barrel set straight for the cop's kidney. The cop got scared, the kid he starts to figure, I'll do years if I pull this trigger. So he cold dashed and ran around the block. Cop radios into another lady cop. He ran by a tree, there he saw the sister. Shot for the head, he shot back, but he missed her. Looked round good and from expectations, he decided he'd hit for the subway stations. But she was coming and he made a left. He was running top speed till he was out of breath. Knocked an old man down and swore he killed him. Then he made his move to an abandoned building. Ran up the stairs up to the top floor. Opened up a door there, guess who he saw? Dave, the dope fiend shooting dope. Who don't know the meaning of water nor soap? He said, "I need bullets, hurry up, run." The dope fiend brought back a spanking shotgun. He went outside, but there was cops all over. Then he dipped into a car, a stolen Nova. Raced up the block doing 83. Crashed into a tree near University. Escaped alive, though the car was battered. Rat-a-tat-tatted and all the cops scattered. Ran out of bullets and he still had static. Grabbed the pregnant lady and pulled out the automatic. Pointed at her head, he said the gun was full of lead. He told the cops, "Back off, for honey here's dead." Deep in his heart, he knew he was wrong, so he let the lady go and he starts to run on. Sirens sounded, he seemed astounded, and before long the little boy got surrounded. He dropped his gun, so went the glory, and this is the way I have to end this story. He was only 17 in a madman's dream. The cop shot the kid, I still hear him scream. This ain't funny, so don't you dare laugh. Just another case about the wrong path. Straight and narrow or your soul gets cast. Good night. Knock him out the box, Rick. Knock him out, Rick. Knock him out the box, Rick.
Oh, wait, sorry about that. Yep, it's a hit back. It's a hit
That's
back.
okay, Nahaja. That's my jam. That's the only song I know from beginning to end. So I appreciate you coming back late and allow me to appreciate that Slick Rick song and had a flashback of 1994, going in St. Mary's Hall, dancing, winding up,
That was St. Mary's Hall?
Yeah. You didn't go into the dance in St. Mary's Hall?
St. Mary's Hall, winding up that St.
Mary's
Mary
Hall. Yes. That's where the dances be.
The Saints' Hall. Mary the Saint.
Mary's the
Her
Saint.
hall.
And all the dance used to be in St. Mary's Hall. until
winding up.
Yeah, we wind up. We wind up.
That's when girls used to get feel up.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
No,
I know.
I didn't do those things.
No, I know.
No.
I know. Palm
No.
Sunday.
I was a
Okay.
late bloomer.
It explains a lot. Good for you. Good for you, buddy.
Good for me.
So you stayed saved in the Saint. The Saint
I was one of those children, yes.
Well, look at God. All right.
Yeah, God is good. Amen.
I know, but you was there, you perv.
I
see
was
you.
there and I watched and I danced all the same.
Yeah, pervalicious.
Slick Rick was the song.
Slick Rick, that song is still one of the classics. Like it will never go old. Do you believe my child tried to teach me that song? Like,
really?
Like, though she was like, mommy, you know, I don't know how old you are, but this is the best song in the world.
Yes.
Have you ever heard of?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't know, say it for me. And then she started going on. It's like, I know that song. Mommy, you don't know this song. This is a good song. You don't know good songs.
No. Different era. This song just came out.
This is a new song. It's a hit for them.
Mm-hmm.
I can't like these children extra. Anyways, so my friend, I've been noticing your trapsiness online.
Yes.
Right. And this is how it was brought to my attention as I've been, ridiculously trying to keep up, but at the same time, stupidly busy. All of this. And I noticed your level of trapsiness on a particular story.
Yes.
A story that was a part of a storyline with regards to taxes.
Yes.
Give me your 411 on what's going on.
The government needs money and decide to go after rich people who have the money to help save the rest of the Bahamas. That's the short end of the whole long story. We broke, we know who have the money, and we decide to go after them to get the money. Yes. And the long and short, that's what it is.
That's what it is?
Yes.
I mean, so we broke, we need money.
And we know where the money is. The rich people have it, and they don't want to pay any taxes. So similar to the last administration, they decided to consider increasing the taxes for persons who own property over a certain amount, money amount, dollar value amount. And the Bahamas Realtors, REA, I'm missing some letters, association.
BREA, Bahamas Real Estate Association.
Are saying, crying foul, and said that the government does not have a right, and that is illegal for them to impose taxes on people who are rich and have these property. So I found it as an affront to even suggest such a thing, that the government is doing something illegal, but in regards to getting taxes on the land in the Bahamas. See, it's insulting to us who are paying taxes in general, and there's always be these foreign rich people, So I'm assuming any minute now, just like the previous government, a strong letter is going to be written
to the House,
to this administration, and said, how dare you try and tax us? And if you try tax us, we can leave. And of course, the government will, and that's the word they use, will backpedal, right?
Capitulate. But they use the word, but Diana Phillips, I think, used the word backpedal in her.
I'm not sure she know the negative connotation of backpedaling, but she used that word all the same. Say we want the government to backpedal.
But we've done it before.
For the sake of them, not for the sake of us.
No,
for the sake of them.
Now, here's where this gets interesting, of course, right? So we're familiar that this has happened before, and we capitulated or backpedaled, I guess. Is that fair to say? We backpedaled. We got a letter from beyond the gates, and the letter from beyond the gates took away the difference in taxation of wealthy or higher level valued properties, right? So we were going to do
rich people
properties, right? And so it was going to be a taxation. I think property tax, what was suggested was 50% then under the Minister administration. Some increased by 50%. I think the increase was about 50% increase on what was already stated, if memory serves me. And that was a no-no. They weren't into that. They didn't want to be taxed that level, or up 50% at the purchase price, something like that. And then we got a letter. So now this administration, the BREA, has said to its audiences and encouraging people not to pay.
The audacity.
They are saying, telling, don't pay your taxes.
The audacity.
I said, well, what a time. But now if I don't pay my taxes, I live here.
What? I'm not paying VAT no more. Keep that VAT tax. I ain't paying it.
I live here though. I live here. So if I don't pay my taxes, what are going on? What's going to happen?
The audacity. That's what I said. The audacity, and to publish it, and don't whisper to them. You know. They are bold enough to say it loudly because they don't care, nor do they care that they will affront or insult anyone else. They feel comfortable in saying such thing loud and bold and brisk, right? To not even email their members and say, "Hey, let's do this quietly." They want everyone to know. They don't give a darn. They don't give a darn about the government. They don't give a darn about the behaving people. They don't give a darn about the laws. They ain't gonna pay it.
But mind you, just for the record, the real estate agents, one of the things that was touted in this season, Cecil, this one industry kept talking about how proud they are, about how much money they were making in this pandemic. Sell, 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 sell. Hot commodity items, high level, and the value. They would talk about the high-end property sales were skyrocketing. Marquin was watching a video. Marquin, my husband, watches these wonderful videos online. He's just this YouTube University fanatic, whatever. And he's watching this video where this Canadian fellow was going to another place, was moving from Canada, going somewhere else, and decided on his YouTube channel live, he's decided he's going to the Bahamas because of all of the real estate and taxation loopholes. Well, what a time. Man, that he admitted that when someone questioned about the homes being, well, are you concerned that of the hurricane belt? He said, no, well, listen, you buy your house there, and if the storm takes it away, you get insurance money. So you don't lose. You don't live there anyway. The real estate, I'm curious as to this. And is it just benefiting only the super wealthy who already are not paying income tax or any sort of tax that is in any way showing that you have a different level of income? We're all paying the same in a way. And that we're in dire straits. And we've always said, listen, people are here who are wealthy. And I don't know if you remember, Cecil, you would have the argument where folks who would say, well, the rich people, they don't mind paying their taxes. But somehow when we start talking about income tax, the rich people them is getting a little sensitive. For poor folk too, but the rich for sure. They ain't into all of that. I don't know what Bria dealing with. I don't like it necessarily. It doesn't sit well with me.
Nahaja, we have the richest man, maybe third or fourth now. But for this argument, we have the richest man in the world living on Harbor Island in Eleuthera. Mm-hmm. We ain't getting no money from him. How can you? Your piggy bank is as much as our national debt. You're living among some of the best people in the world, right? Mm-hmm. Yes. We welcome you in our country, sharing our culture and sharing our national pride with you. You have money to clear all our problems, and my point is they're not doing enough. They're not doing enough. We have places like out west and Albany, Life Key would have billions of dollars.
Homes at value, and have different rules.
More than Bay Street.
Listen, and they have different COVID rules. And you don't want me to tell. When we locked down, they haven't, get-togethers and board meetings and midnight cocktails. Not us.
And Nahaja, this is their mean home either, though. This is satellite house. This is satellite house.
This is like escaping winter.
$12 billion. They call it the cottage. And they don't want to pay taxes on their cottage.
They don't want to pay more. That's
Something is wrong with that.
I agree.
Something's wrong with that. And my point is, they have access to our leaders. They have access to our prime minister to get him an email, to get him a phone call where he could consider changing the law to appease them. I don't have no access to our prime minister like that. And I'm a Bahamian. Something is wrong with that. The narrative is insulting. And that narrative, which happened with the F&M, I believe it snowballed, and Bahamian got upset. And I'm encouraging the PLP to know
not
that
capitulate.
Not just that the entire nation is watching. The entire nation is watching because we watched the last administration and a narrative of them being a foreign. A nickname they got a foreign national movement, that they were taking care of other people first and Bahamians second, right? That it was not the people's time, but it's other people's time, right? And we're watching to see what will be the end outcome of this, right? We're waiting to see if any email is sent, any letter is hand delivered by any member of parliament. We're waiting on it because we heard. We heard. We had trauma from the last administration, and it seems as if this trauma is continuing onto this administration, and we're vexed. We are vexed, and especially when you're seeing letters being written to the editor and using the article, right, for people who work for Bria, right?
Yeah,
it's their job. They're getting rich of these things, and
off of our land, off of selling off the Bahamas. They're getting extremely wealthy. Bahamians are begging and standing on lines at for mortgages just to put in applications. The
we
mass
have
of us.
people on breadline, Nahaja, waiting on long lines
Just for food
to get food, and these people bold enough to say all kind of nonsense. The article mentioned that prices of food went up for them, for rich people. You know, light bill went up for rich people. Why insult us like that?
Well, you know,
they don't care about us, man.
Cecil, you know, you and I, we had this discussion earlier today. When you and I go to the store, when we make sure and watch to make sure that the cashier putting it in right, we say, oh, wait, you know that on sale, right? You fix that. And we wait for the manager to come and scan that card and give us our discount. We stop talking to all our children and family to watch that screen. Man, rich folk, they tell them keep the receipt, keep the change. They go ahead and call a friend.
They don't even collect the stamps.
Stamps?
Oh, you leave your stamps at the food store.
Man, I got a food store that don't give me stamps. Why I shop there? I swear to you.
Something wrong, Nahaja.
But this is now we're talking about, okay, that things like breadbasket items went up for them. Man, look here. Your property costs X. I'm happy for you. I don't begrudge you that. I'm glad that you could afford that. I can't, but one day I'm hoping that I can afford close to that. And when that time comes, I have to understand that the value of that house is going to cost me this in taxes. It is the law of the land. Why are we're in financial straits? There's talk of, we had an economist, and forgive me of her name, Durkin, I can't remember, let me not fail on that, writing an article saying that very soon that the Bahamas has to go into the IMF. Very soon, right? Because we're going to be unable to pay our bills. The government yesterday put out their strategy report, the fiscal strategy report and debt management reports. And it still wasn't as glorious as we would like it to be. It still doesn't look as good. They say they have a plan. We will see how this works out. But we need all of the revenue we can get. And they seem to have this sort of an idea, but we'll watch it and see that they believe that they're going to capture revenue loss by the flat rate that has been given. So we'll see how that works. But before we go, Simon Wilson, the financial secretary, in response to Bria saying that the report was invalid, because this is what they're arguing as well, that this company that is doing the reporting or that is doing this assessment or whatnot is illegitimate. So let's see what they say.
Carl walking.
Wait, hold on.
Company get the contract and did it go to tender?
So the engagement with Tyler Technology commenced in 2014. The government at the time engaged KPMG to manage the tender process and select Tyler Technologies. So Tyler Technologies is a company, or they have a branch that specializes in property tax services, and especially in states like Hawaii and so forth, as well as the continental United States. So they have a long history in property tax assessments, which is separate and different from appraisals. So yes, they're in the tender. It's not an appraisal service, but it's a tax assessment service, which is governed by the Real Property Tax Act.
And that was all we got. That was the extent of the question and answer period on that at the press conference today. And I thought that there would have been a bit more I tried to reach Mr. Halkitis, but he's off the island. So hopefully we can get some answers from him as well. His response in the paper was that he was surprised and disappointed that Bria would be telling anyone to not pay their taxes. And I want to read this here. Cabinet Minister yesterday said he was shocked and disappointed that Bahamian realtors are calling for the withdrawal of all 2020 real property tax bills because they are illegal and invalid. Michael Arkitis told the Tribune Business the legality concerns raised by Bria over the recent valuation exercise do not arise, and voiced surprise that it would encourage people to ignore their obligation to pay due taxes given the government's dire fiscal position. Frankly, I am shocked, he says, and disappointed that Bria would take such a position, especially to encourage people to ignore their obligations, given our need to improve our fiscal position, the minister said in response to the newspaper's inquiries. As the backlash over property tax bills that have increased by up to 435% continues to mount. 435%. So let's say that it was, what is the percentage now? 435%. So let's say you were paying what, 200,000, and we make you pay now what, 4, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, about almost $100,000, $1 million worth in that, almost. That ain't, I mean, it ain't that bad. Ain't that bad, eh? That's pretty bad. That's a lot of taxes.
Can they afford it? Who can afford it, Nahaja?
But they can afford it.
They can afford it.
They can afford it.
They say they can't afford it. I listen in. There's rich people issues.
No. And if they can't afford it, sell your house. Let someone else who can afford it.
People who can afford it.
All I said,
you gotta understand, it's a luxury being in the Bahamas, and we gotta understand that this is the place to be. And these people come and set up gated communities and don't want to be amongst us now.
No.
And they set their gates high. You know, they want to pass there.
Man, listen.
And they bring in their own labor. They bring in their own grocery. You know, we need to consider that these people aren't for us.
No, and they don't spend anything in the community, like you said. So it's all in that one very tight-knit group that just wants the benefits of the Bahamas, the sunshine sea, the service, the servants, and all of the people they meet standing next to those bulls in Albany or Lyford Key or wherever. And we are expected to carry all of the fiscal load. But it is what it is. And so now I'm with you that the government should not capitulate. And Mr. Davis and Minister Halkitis and investments, they should, listen, let them bark. But the people brought this government in, and this is a new day. Don't capitulate by a letter. We'll be watching. We're all watching and waiting. We got to go. CA, buddy, thank you. I'll see you on Monday. Always a pleasure. You're listening to The Hit Back with Nahaja, Black Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM. We're out. See you Monday. Have a great weekend.